Hey friends, it's Missy again. Thanks for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 March kits again. And I went ahead and picked out some things that I want to use on this page. I've got some of the 4x6 and 3x4 pocket life cards, as well as lots of the pattern papers. And some of these I've already cut into or I've torn into. Some of them are still full 12x12s. And I wanted to come up with a different color scheme. I wanted to incorporate some of that darker blue and that darker green color into a layout. And I want to warn you that my Wi-Fi is acting spotty and it keeps freezing up my screen as I'm doing my voiceover. And I've tried to do it 15 times now, and I'm just going to go with it this time. So if something doesn't match up with what you're seeing and what I'm saying, that is why. But we're going to power through. So I decided to use a square punch. This says it's 2 inches, but these squares are definitely a little bit smaller than that. And I'm just going to punch and sort of use these patterns and colors together to make a really fun and different color scheme. And this is sort of what I came up with here. I'm going to use this black and white picture of my little page from a few years ago. And I like the mix of these colors. I'm not going to use white as my background. I just pulled that out to use as to have a place to put all those little squares. I'm going to use this as my background, and this is from the cardstock kit. It's a light minty green color, and I just felt like doing something different, and so that is what this layout is going to be. Different for me anyway. I am going to do some mixed media, so I'm going to use some here to start to prep the background with. I'm going to use my palette knife as well as my fingers to just scrape it on and smudge it around. I didn't want the harsh, scrapey edges. I wanted to have it sort of soft and kind of cloudy. So that's why I use my fingers a lot to smudge the edges. And so it's pretty subtle. So now I'm going to use my T-square ruler here to straighten everything up and make sure that these squares are straight, because there's a 100% chance that these would not be straight if I did not have this ruler as a guide, because I can't do anything straight without help. So I'm just going to start to create lines of all of these squares, and I really like the mix of these colors. It's a different color scheme for me, but I like how they look all together. The orange color there is from one of those 4x6 cards, and I like the addition of that color. And I also like the black and gray paper. That is, all of these papers are actually from the Sunny Days crate paper collection, and there is that one sheet that's got all those black and white real photos on it, and that's a challenging page to use. So for now, I'm just punching out some shapes and using it in small bits like this. So I'm using my Scotch tacky glue in my little fine liner bottle there to glue all those down. And this is where I'm going to start. And I've got my little spot for my photo there. And if you've watched my video from last week, I kind of did the same technique here where I didn't gesso my paper first though. I put all the circles down and then I gessoed on top of them. This layout is going to be pretty much the opposite. I did my gesso first, and then I put all the squares on top of it, because I want to do my mixed media down below the squares on this layout. I wanted the squares to just shine as they are. I didn't want to mute them or add lots of color to them. I just wanted to leave those alone. And so I made sure that I had gesso below where the photo is going to go. And I pulled out all 3 colors from the color kit. Those are the Lindy's Stamp Gang sprays, and we got a pink, a green, and a blue. And the pink and the green are really, really pretty here. I think they really pull those colors down to that area of the layout. The blue is gorgeous. It's just a little more on the turquoise side, and so I'm going to do some mixing and matching here. And this color that I have in my hand right now, we got that a couple of months ago. That is the Prima spray. The color, I think they're color blooms, and it was still a little bit light, so I'm going to sort through some of our shimmers that we got in previous kits, and I pulled out the Oaky Bear blue, and this is definitely a lot darker. And I know I say this a lot, but if you like doing mixed media of any kind, highly recommend the color kits each month, because you really wind up with a big stockpile of all of these colors, and almost always future kits are going to match previous color kits. And case in point right here, I was able to pull out this darker blue color and mix and match it to match this darker blue paper. So color kits are always a good idea because they always match things to come in future kits. I really love this green color, and I'm really usually not a huge fan of, grass green, but something about the blends and mixes with these other colors, I really, really enjoy it. I think it looks pretty here. So yeah, my mixed media pertain to pretty much this little area here underneath where the photo is going to go. And I am going to add lots of splatters later and more as I go, but yeah, it's pretty much localized here in this little area. I like how that's looking. I do decide to add some foam behind my photo, and I wasn't sure if I was going to pull in some more layers behind it or if I was just going to keep it with just the tissue paper behind it, but I think I wind up not layering anything else behind it. And I printed my photo in black and white because there was a lot of brown in the photo because she's in our kitchen and she's actually coming toward me like a little zombie. And so I was walking backwards trying to take a picture of her, and our cabinets and things are brown. And so it was a very blurry photo because it was at night. And sometimes when you take a blurry photo and convert it to black and white, it makes it look a lot better. Now, I also pulled out some of those Prima Opal Magic color changing paints that we got in a previous kit. And there's Paige. I don't know if you can see her hair. She came over and decided to lay her head on my arm as I was painting. She's so funny. So I had to give her some kisses. But yeah, I just like mixing and matching the different colors and the different types of paints that we get in the kits each month because they're all different shimmer factors. Some of them are flat, some of them are shimmery, some of them change color like those opal paints did, and they just look really cool when you mix and match them all together. So that's what we've got so far. I'm going to start to work on embellishing here, and I've got the Crate Paper Sunny Days stickers. I've got a lot of the Heidi Swap Color Fresh die cuts that I've picked out over on the left. I picked out things that were pink, green, mint, blue, black and white. This little the best ever sticker is from that sticker sheet of exclusive stickers, and it matched the size almost perfectly there. So I'm going to add that over to the left of that last line of squares, and then I'm going to create a little cluster down on the bottom left corner area, and I'm going to pull in a couple squares there, and I'm going to use that green sticker, camera sticker, and I'm going to add some foam behind that to raise it up off the page. I'm going to use that butterfly just because it matched. This was kind of one of those layouts where I was just looking for bits and pieces that matched the colors. There are a lot of puffy stickers, a lot of die cuts and things that have that bright dark green color in there, and I was happy to use some of those up. And I'm definitely using my ruler again because, again, things will be crooked, and I want my photo crooked, but I want those squares straight. Off camera, before I glued anything down, I did run it through my sewing machine. I used some metallic gold thread, and I just did a straight stitch to make sure everything was adhered down, and I'm also going to add some gold stuff later. Now I'm going to build all the embellishments back on, and just going to add some thread. Of course, I pulled out all of my colors of thread that match what I have. I've got some pink, some mint, and then some of the darker, I call that royal blue. That's not necessarily a navy, I don't think. I consider that a royal blue. But I'm going to add some pink underneath that The Best Ever sticker. And that butterfly is going to go right to the upper right area of the photo. And then I'm going to add some blue thread in. And it was fun. I mean, I think this would have looked good on white cardstock as well, but I like the mint. I think it pulls out the colors in a different way in all those squares. And I did think about using pattern paper as a background also, but when I have so many squares of different colors and patterns, I felt like a pattern paper background would just be overkill. It would be way too much. And so that's why I chose a solid background. I know the photo is pretty much going in that area, so I'm going to go ahead and stick that down. And then I wanted to pull some of that orangey peachy color down to that bottom cluster, and so I'm going to mix and match two different colors of thread because I had two that I could not decide on. So I just pulled strings or pieces of thread from each one and mixed them together. And I'm going to add that behind the green camera. And I never would imagine that grass green and peachy orange would look good together, but I think when you mix it with all these other colors, it's doable. I'm going to add some hearts around this camera. I've got a vellum heart and then a sticker heart. Yeah, I just kind of went for it. I'm going to pull out these minty alphas from Doodlebug. I haven't used those yet. And I just decided to mix and match. I'm going to put all this Sass as my title because she is definitely sassy, and she was being a little sassy pants in the kitchen. I have so many pictures of just this random moment in the kitchen. She was making faces and smiling and laughing, and her little arms were sticking out in front of her. She just reminded me of a little creature coming to get me, and I was just walking backwards snapping pictures of her as she was coming toward me, and she was just so funny. So I'm mixing and matching those Doodlebug alphas with those black thickers. And so all this Sass is going to be the title. And then I'm going to add all those puffy stickers that I found that matched on top of some of the squares in coordinating colors. And then I'm going to use some more hearts from the Crate Paper puffy / epoxy stickers. I'm not quite sure. I call them puffy stickers, even though they're harder than the typical puffy sticker. Some of those matched. Some of the pieces from this exclusive sticker sheet matched. The orangey color one, a blue one, and then this little piece that says the best. It's more of a minty color. I'm going to use this black sticker that says enjoy the ride. And then more hearts. There are actually lots of hearts between all of these little sticker sheets. There's a full sheet of exclusive epoxy hearts right there. I'm going to use that. A couple of those scattered around. I just kind of went embellishment happy here. So I'm going to make sure everything is glued down because things just never seem to stick with gesso. So I'm going to make sure everything is glued down. And I do take a black pen around the words all this because you can't really see it because it's the same color as that background. So I do create a little shadow effect with a black pen so those words are a little more visible. Make sure my words are straight before I start to glue those down because, yeah, like I said, crooked. I do want to bend up the edges of some of these squares, and so I'm going to take some time and do that, and I love the dimension that that creates. Even though they're perfectly straight lines of squares, I think folding up the edges still gives them a little bit of something messy, which I love. I'm going to add some journaling, and we're almost finished here. Like I said, my video keeps pausing, so I'm not sure what you're seeing at this particular moment, but the final layout is coming up, and I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I had a really fun time putting it together. Let me know if you have any questions about any of the kits or the techniques or anything that I did on this page that I might have forgotten to say, and I hope you'll join me in my next video. Make sure you check out hipkitclub.net for more details about all the kits, and I will see you soon in my next video. Thank you so much for watching.